If I woke up 30 pounds overweight and I wanted it gone as fast as possible, this is the exact strategy I would use. In fact, this helped my one-on-one client Johnny lose over 50 pounds in 1 calendar year. And by the way, if you are new to the channel, my name is Adrian McDonald. I'm a high performance health coach, and we help men over 35 lose their belly fat and get their confidence back. Now, the first is eliminate alcohol. Alcohol is like the silent handbrake in fat loss, because when you drink it, your body prioritizes getting rid of this toxin rather than focusing on losing body fat. Alcohol will also mess with your sleep, your mood, and your energy the following day. So if you really want that belly fat gone, lock in for at least 8 to 12 weeks and try to cut or eliminate alcohol. Number 2 is going to be a protein modified calorie deficit. The reality is most men that we coach, they're either undereating, they're overeating, or they just have no idea how much food they need to eat. So if you have quite a bit of weight to lose, very simple hack. Take your body weight in pounds, multiply this by 10, that's going to be your daily calorie target. If you don't have as much fat to lose, take your body weight in pounds and multiply this by 12, and that's going to be your daily calorie target. So for example, if you're 180 pounds, that's 1800 calories a day times 10, or that would be 2,160 calories a day times 12. However, it's not just a calorie deficit, it's a protein modified calorie deficit, number 3. That is, you need to eat enough protein. So, very simple way again, you want to make sure that you're getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So 180 pounds will be 180 grams. What are some good sources of protein? So typically I like to recommend our clients have at least 2 lean sources of protein per day. That could be things like chicken, like poultry, like steak, like white fish. Then make up the remainder of your protein from sources like protein powder, like Greek yogurt, and like eggs. And by the way, if you want a meal plan that shows you how to get over 180 grams of protein in less than 2,000 calories, click the link in the bio or just DM me on Instagram, Adrian_MacLifestyleFitness meal plan, and I'll send it over for free. Now, following on for your protein intake, also a time restricted calorie deficit tends to work well for a client. Most for men, especially in the evening after dinner, they tend to snack on foods like chocolate. A good way to mitigate this is have a hard cutoff time. Create a rule for yourself. I do not eat 3 hours before bed. Why is this effective? First of all, I think you do need to have some restrictions in place. And secondly, most of the meals people tend to eat after 8 o'clock at night don't tend to be very nutrient dense. So with your time restricted calorie deficit, subtract 3 hours from the time you go to bed. So you're in bed at 10:30, stop eating by 7:30. Then typically having 3 to 4 meals throughout the day with about 40 grams of protein spaced out evenly tends to work well. Now, with all that being said, just like you measure the profit and loss in your business, number 5 is that counting your calories can be helpful. This is not about obsessing, but rather count your calories for at least 30 days. Invest in a kitchen scale and don't obsess over every single number on MyFitnessPal. 3 key numbers I want you to look out for. Number 1, your total daily calories. Number 2, your total daily protein intake. And number 3, your total daily fiber intake. Typically speaking, for men who get in insane shape, their calories range from 1800 to 2200. Their protein is always over 160, and they tend to get at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber in. And if you focus on these 3 numbers, you're going to be eating the right amount of food, preserving your muscle mass, and you're going to stay fuller for longer. Now, does this mean you have to be obsessive? Absolutely not, because point number 6, the 90-10 rule can help. 90% of your calories, single ingredient whole foods. They've got 1 ingredient. This is just an orange, nothing else in it. Orange juice, on the other hand, may contain an orange, but also hundreds of ingredients. And then 10% flexibility. You can include Oreos, you can include chocolate into your meal plan and still get in shape when you follow these rules, and also look and feel good along the way. However, avoid mistake number 7, and that is make sure you're adequately hydrated. A lot of the men that we coach, myself included, I'm no different, we often mistake being hungry with just being dehydrated. So start your day every morning with at least 500 mils of water, and here's your target amount of water per day. Whatever your body weight is in kilos, multiply that by 30 to 50, that's your daily caloric target, at a minimum. So for example, if you're 80 kg, 2.4 to 4 liters per day. And of course, nutrition wouldn't be complete without understanding what supplements you need to take. Now, supplements are like the final 5%, but these are my 5 MVP supplements. First of all, protein powder, simply because most men that we coach, they're just not getting enough on a daily basis. Next is going to be creatine monohydrate, the most scientifically backed supplement on the planet. Take 0.1 grams per kilo of body weight. Next up is going to be omega-3, simply because most people just don't get enough in their diet on a day-to-day basis. If you don't live in the sunshine, I recommend taking vitamin D3 and K2, 5,000 to 10,000 IUs per day. And finally, if you want to improve your sleep, taking magnesium 1 or 2 hours before bed, personally I use magnesium citrate, can certainly help. However, we're not just after weight loss, we're also after fat loss. That's why point number 8, strength training every single week is important. Weight loss is where you lose weight. Fat loss is where you lose body fat while maintaining your muscle mass. What I'd recommend to any busy working professional watching this is train movement over muscle. So for example, rather than doing your chest on a Monday, back on a Tuesday, arms on a Wednesday and so on, train movement patterns. And there are 7 fundamental patterns you can include in your training program. And they are a vertical push like an overhead press, a vertical pull like a chin up or lat pull down, a horizontal push like a bench press or a dumbbell bench press, a horizontal pull like a single arm row, then some form of squat variation, whether it's a goblet squat or a barbell back squat, some kind of hinge or a deadlift, whether it's a barbell deadlift, a dumbbell RDL or even a hip thrust, and then finally a split stance movement, something like a rear foot elevated split squat, which I know are very challenging, or something like a step up. And if you implement those 8 fundamental movement patterns, you will train your full body and you'll do it in a more time efficient manner. And being more time efficient is helpful when you implement number 9, that is progressive overload. It's a fancy way of saying gradually increase the intensity week on week. So for example, every single week your target should be add more weight to the bar or increase your reps or sets. So for example, this could be 25 kilos to 27 kilos on the chest press, or it could be last week you did 8 reps, this week you did 10 reps. Always try to gradually add more load over time, because we've all seen the people who go to the gym for 1, 2, 3 years and they look the exact same way. Chances are they're not following a program or they're not implementing progressive overload. Now, if you want to include cardio, point number 10, I think it is important. Cardio is not essential for fat loss, but if you care about your health and longevity, maintaining a healthy heart is so important. So you can do low intensity steady state cardio, which is like conversational cardio, and feel free to add some metabolic finishers, something like 10 seconds on the assault bike, max effort, 50-second rest. When you do a combination of low intensity and high intensity cardio, that can help improve your fitness and how you feel and function on a daily basis. Finally though, once you finish the gym, you're not finished, okay, completely. This is why point number 11, that is daily movement, is important. I used to be the guy that goes to the gym and then just put my feet up for the rest of the day. My step count to be less than 4,000. If you look at any of the people who live beyond 100, one key target they all have in mind is movement is medicine, and they move often, they move regularly. So try to get your steps in, try to walk more, take the stairs more, and set yourself a daily step count of at least 8,000. But if you really want to optimize how you feel and function on a daily basis and alter your cognitive performance, number 12, sleeping like it's your job, is so important. Just think about it. When you have a bad night's sleep, you're less likely to want to work out, you're more likely to want to crave junk, and that's a compounding cycle. But the opposite is also true. When you sleep better, you want to train harder, you want to eat better, and it's this compounding cycle. So what I'd recommend is, with your sleep, aim to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Because the reality is, poor sleep can raise your cortisol, and cortisol increases storage of visceral fat. And something that helps me is point number 13, and that is having a wind down routine. So personally what I do is 1 hour before bed, I will set a reverse alarm. This is just a signal for me and my body to relax and to prepare for bed. I also follow the 10-3-2-1 rule. That is 10 hours before bed, cut caffeine, 3 hours before bed, stop eating, 2 hours before bed, stop drinking, and 1 hour before bed, no electronics or no work. Now, I don't always follow the electronics rule, which is why I wear these blue light blocking glasses. These essentially block or dim out all blue light. So try to dim the lights 1 hour before bed. And finally, something that's so underrated to help your sleep is to use a journal before bed. This is what I like to call a brain dump I got from one of my mentors. Essentially, a brain dump is write down everything that's worrying you, okay? Because a lot of sleep issues are actually caused from just anxiety and stress. So whatever it is you're worried about, put it on pen to paper. And finally, plan tomorrow today. When you have that wind down routine in place, wearing the glasses, the 10-3-2-1-0 rule, and journaling, I find personally it helps a lot. Now, how are you meant to know if you're losing body fat? That's why point number 14, tracking that moves the needle, is important. So I already mentioned, track your calories, but we also recommend our clients to track these 5 things. First of all is your morning weight every single day. Next is your weekly progress pictures. Third is going to be your calories. Fourth is going to be your lifts in the gym. And fifth is going to be to check in with our one-on-one performance coach for our clients, so we can understand what's working well and what we need to improve on. Now, something our VIP clients do, and that is point number 15, get their blood work checked. The reality is, health and fitness is not the same thing. So you can actually look fit on the outside but not feel healthy in the inside. Personally, I recommend getting your bloods checked at least twice a year to make sure that everything on the inside is okay. And finally, point number 16, that is reverse and rebuild the metabolism once you lose the belly fat. Get out of the end game mentality. So many people who lose weight quickly, they regain that weight within the year. The reality is you need to change your identity, change the person you're becoming, and you also need to change your habits over time. When you lose weight, your body's maintenance calories and your metabolism will adjust. So you have to account for that metabolic adaptation. This is why the final pillar for one-on-one coaching is reversing and rebuilding your calories. What this often looks for a client is that we gradually increase their calories week on week until they get to a point where they're actually able to eat more food without gaining any body fat. Because remember, fat loss is just a phase. It's not the only phase you want to be focusing on. Once you get lean, the goal to be to do a lean gaining phase and do a lean bulk. But that is a topic for another video. So if you want to lose the belly fat, make sure you follow these steps. Don't overwhelm yourself at all 16, but why not just start counting your calories, reducing your alcohol intake, increasing your protein intake, increasing your exercise, your movement, and I promise you, over time, you will start seeing improvement. Now, if you want this all laid out in a customized plan specific to your lifestyle, to your goals, to your routine, that is what we offer at our high performance one-to-one coaching and Mac Lifestyle Fitness. So if you want to see if you're a good fit, just click the link in the bio to schedule a call at me or a member of my team, and we can talk about your goals in more detail. But that is all for this video. If you're not already doing so, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you are listening to my podcast, The Business Athlete Show, also please make sure you subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Peace.